Okay, we'll go ahead and bring the city council meeting to order. I'd like to first ask everyone to stand and reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Kevin, can you please do roll call?
Jenny Bauer-Tolt.
Here.
Matt Dyer. Here. Tyler Fulenkamp. Here. Scott Murray. Here. Abby Wilder.
Here.
Okay, was everyone given a chance to review the minutes from the meeting held on September 3rd? Any corrections, deletions, additions?
Make a motion to accept them as emailed.
Second.
Motion 2 seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're going to let Brad come up. Oh, He's asking for another donation to NeighborLink. Sounds like they've been helping do some things around the city, so.
Just so you guys know, Kurt is on speakerphone here. He's at a conference down in southern Indiana, but I'm going to go ahead and talk, and if I miss something, he'll let us know. So, NeighborLink does a ton for us. We've gotten 4 dumpsters from them so far this year. So some of these properties we deal with for code enforcement, they have no means to haul this stuff away. It's more than what they can handle. So NeighborLink, for no fee, will bring a dumpster in for us for these particular instances, haul it away, and we've not gotten a bill for it. Now, last year we came before council and asked for $5,000, and that's what we're pursuing this year. We again would like to ask for a $5,000 donation for NeighborLink.
And you have a plan coming up, or something you're taking care of pretty soon here, right? Like you have a group, don't you?
We started going to church a few months ago. We go to Pleasantdale. They do a community action day, and that is the 22nd, so this Sunday. So instead of going to church, we're going to a lot on Schermeyer to clean it up. So this is another instance where we'd like to have that dumpster there.
Didn't the president of NeighborLink come last year and present and, yeah.
Kind of explain.
Zane
Martin
yes.
is the one of the founding members of it, and kind of explained what NeighborLink does, and they're a nonprofit group that helps kind of supplement home improvement projects for people with necessary repairs or things that are needed done that don't have the means to do it, and they just help facilitate or put people in touch with people who can help too. So, but they are all volunteer-based and they're all donation-based.
It's a county-by-county. Each program has their own, basically, website to sign up on, and you post your projects that you need done, and then people from the community pick and choose what they can help with.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make a motion to donate the $5,000 to them again.
I'll second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, and thanks for...
Well done, Brad.
Thanks, big brother. Okay. All right, next we have a couple people here from Crow to talk about water and sewer rates. Not always an exciting thing, but you know when you have to do something about it. So appreciate all the help you guys have given us, and I'll let you guys present.
All right. I'm Jennifer Wilson, and this is Janessa Carter, and we're both from Crow. And I'll present the water utility first, because that's going to be the harder one to go through, and then Janessa will present the sewage works. All right. There we go. So what we did is we came in and we looked at your years 2021, 2022, and 2023 as your years, and we made adjustments for the test year for your current budget of 2024. And we came up with your revenue requirements, which would include your operation maintenance, your taxes, your current debt payments, and building up your operating fund to its required level, and extensions and replacements, which is cash-funded capital and projects. Your key considerations, just wrapping up everything that came into this report, is that you have a $4.4 million capital improvement plan, and the items that are listed up there are on your capital improvement plan. And so we're going to be funding that or building up your cash so that you can fund that on an annual basis of about $840,000 per year. Yeah, the past couple of years, you'll see here in a few graphs that your cash has gone down because your operating is less than your operating expenses. So you've dipped into your operating fund amount, and we're going to build that back up to its required amount for your bond ordinances. So overall, we're doing a 2-phase rate increase. The first phase will get you halfway there on your capital, cash-funded capital, and fully all the way there on your second phase. We're going to propose that the first phase go into effect immediately because the water utility does need cash immediately, and then the second phase would be effective January 1st, 2026. Just to go through a few things on your balance sheet, I already talked about it a little bit on your operating fund. You have a deficit of $140,000 to be built back up to its level that it should be at, which is 2 months worth of operation and maintenance. We're proposing that you fund that up over 3 years so it gets built in the revenue requirement. Your debt service reserve is at its required level, but your debt here, you can see here, it's going to be very constant for the next 4 years at about $1,350,000. And if you recall, it's basically 3 bond issues, but you have a small one at 2017 bonds still outstanding, and then we issued bonds in 2018. There's about $9.5 million of that still outstanding, and $10 million from the 2020 bonds. So you did a lot of capital improvement with the last rate increase that was effective in 2018. Here's the graph that shows you how your operating revenues, which is in blue, versus your expenses, which is in yellow. It was your operating revenues exceeded in 2021, but then Land of Sun, or Dairy Farmers of America, I know they have both names, it discontinued operations in November of 2021, and also Bunge had decreased their usage by quite a bit, about $300,000. So that's why in 2022 you started basically not bringing in enough revenue to meet your expenses. So you had $400,000 in 2021 to do cash-funded extensions and replacements, but if you did any in 2022 or 2023, you were basically using any of your cash that you already built up, and that's why we're now needing to build your cash back up. I'm briefly only going to talk on this page. We make adjustments for your budgeted year, but there's not a whole lot of differences. You already have absorbed quite a bit of increases in chemical expenses over that time period that has gone up about $200,000 in that 3-year time period. This summarizes the revenue requirements. The dark blue is your operation and maintenance at $2.1 million, and taxes about $50,000. Your debt service is $1,353,000. And then we're going to build up your operating fund at $45,000 per year, and then have cash-funded capital improvements at $840,000. So that's a total revenue requirement of $4.4 million. You're currently bringing in $3.1 million, so that's a deficit of $1.3 million that needs to be built up over those 2-phase periods. The first phase is a 28% rate increase, and it'll be bringing in an additional $830,000. And then the second rate increase would be 12%, and would bring up the remainder at $450,000. We do increase operation maintenance slightly in that time period just so that you have a little bit more cushion in case there is a lot more expenses that or inflation happens next year. What this means to a customer, you can estimate that a typical customer is using 500 to 600 cubic feet. And so in the first rate increase, they would see about a $12.42 increase for a 600 cubic feet customer. And then after the second increase, they'll achieve a total of $19 increase. So the 2 phases is a $19.25 increase over the 2-phase rate increase. Same for your outside city customers. Overall, they will see about a $24.46 increase for 600 cubic feet customer. We did a rate survey also that should be part of your packet. This is why it's a little bit harder. You guys are on the higher end of the communities that we survey. We try to find communities in your local area and also of about the same size throughout the state of Indiana. So right now you're in the right at the bottom. You're right at 66% percentile, and then you'd be increasing to the highest one in comparison to everyone, but also everyone else has that opportunity to have a rate increase before 2026 as well. So I don't know if that's truly apples to oranges comparison, because some of these communities might have increases during that time period. That's it for the water utility. Now, I can take any questions right now, or we can save it till the end after the sewage work.
No, I mean, I think it's self-explanatory. It takes a little over $4 million to run the water department per year, and we're taking in about $3 million. Inflation's hit everybody, not just us as residents, but the city too. I mean, everything's getting more and more expensive, and we haven't seen a rate increase for a few years, so.
Correct, and yeah, to your point there, I did look at the CPI, so you guys are tracking a little bit higher than the CPI, but actually this first increase of 28% is right at the CPI between 2018 and now. And the second part gets you a little bit higher capital, and so then also you can maybe forestall the next rate increase. As your operating expenses go up, you just keep reducing the amount you have for capital.
Any other questions for the water rate study?
Okay. All right, moving on to the sewage work. So similarly to what Jennifer had just presented, some of those building blocks of how we derive at the revenue requirements. For the sewage works, we also looked at the historical financial information from 2021 to 23 as of fiscal year end December 31. We made any of those known adjustments to kind of measure forward for our test year. And that built that overall revenue requirement with the operations and maintenance expenses, taxes, debt payments, and then again that cash capital program as well. So key considerations and takeaways for the sewage study are very similar to the water study. A little bit of a different focus here talking about the debt coverage, but the overall recommended debt coverage calculation for our current debt service is 130%. At this time, you do need a rate increase in order to bring outstanding revenue bonds up to that current level of recommended debt service. In addition, we also need to build up the extensions and replacements to a full amount as well. So in this study, we estimated those at the 2023 annual depreciation amount. So once again, another two-phase rate increase recommended, with phase one being January 1 of 2025 this time rather than immediate, and then phase two also January 1 of 2026. So some of those balance sheet highlights here, the debt service reserve fund and the operating fund balances are both at required levels at this time. However, we will talk a little later about the operating fund balance kind of dwindling over time. But they do meet expectations of required minimum balances. The total long-term debt for the sewage works at this time was $9 million. That was at $6 million outstanding on this 2015 bond, and then $3 million outstanding on the 2019 revenue refunding bond. One thing that did help temper rates a little bit for the sewage works was that there was a recent final payment on the 2015 refunding bond this last January. But otherwise, annual debt payments should remain fairly steady, as you can see by the graph, for the next 12 years until that payoff of 2035. Moving forward to some of those income statement highlights. So once again, the overall operating revenues are in those blue bars, and then the total operating expenses and debt service are in the yellow. So there was only 1 year where the revenues exceeded the operating expenses, and that was in 2021. For 2022 and 2023, expenses and debt service actually exceeded your revenues. So in doing so, that really left no dollars available to put towards cash capital projects. But of course, at that time, cash capital projects continued to happen. So in doing so, the operating fund actually decreased. So the operating fund balance in 2021 was $1.6 million. At the end of 2023, it was only $432,000. So we're really thinking that cash that we're building up and kind of your savings, if you will, in order to continue operations and continue extensions and capital improvements. So in addition, again, talking about that debt coverage, in your continuing disclosure, your annual continuing disclosure, we actually calculate your debt coverage combined with your stormwater revenues and expenses. And in 2021, that was at 138%, exceeding that 130% minimum
recommendation, but in 2023 that was at 103%. If you exclude stormwater and actually just take sewer and sewage work revenue expenses only, the 2021 total was 106%, and then in 2023 it's at 79%, so significantly below that recommended minimum balance. Again, I won't spend a lot of time on here. This is really just showing they're not a huge change. We didn't do a significant or measure really adjustments within the study to bring from your test year on the left side to your adjusted operating expenses. But one thing I did want to note is that we did do a addition estimate for a new customer that was added, and that was at IO Properties. One thing I didn't say on the last slide, but should also note that during the last 3 years, too, as Jennifer noted in the last study, in addition to having your revenues or your expenses grow, you also did lose that customer, Dairy. Land Dairy. I can always say Lake. Yeah, Land of Sun. Thank you. So that did also have an impact into your financials and kind of the financial situation and picture that we're looking at right now. Again, we did do a marginal increase too for salaries and wages just to kind of bring up and normalize that test year, but fairly similar between the two. So the total revenue requirement that we calculated for the sewage works were $3.4 million, with the overall adjusted operating revenues currently at $2.7 million. So that left a deficit of about $669,000. So again, splitting that into 2 rate phases, with phase 1 being this coming January, and then phase 2 being this following January of 26. We have a 10% rate increase first. That gets you up to about $241,000, which does help you increase and get back to that 130% minimum debt coverage, and also helps you have partial extensions and replacements with setting that capital plan about 50% of the 2023 depreciation expense. And then the phase 2 rate increase would be that 14%, bringing up that final $405,000 to get you all the way to the full extensions and replacement capital plan. So what this means for our typical customers, for inside customers, again looking at that 600 cubic feet, that would result in the first phase of about $4.68 increase for that customer. And then cumulatively after the second phase, it would be $11.88 total between the 2 phases. For our outside customers at that 600 cubic feet, that would be $7.02 increase after phase 1, and then a cumulative increase of $17.81 between the 2 phases total. Once again, doing that rate survey that we talked about and kind of benchmarking against some of the similar sized cities and towns within the area. Looking at Decatur, we're currently at $51.70. After phase 1, it'd be about $56.87. That puts Decatur right about in the 50th percentile for comparable cities. After phase 2, we're looking at $64.83, and that puts them in about the 62nd percentile. Once again, I think it's a really good note that Jennifer just made that really this is benchmarking against current rates as of the day we did this survey. So if anybody's in the process of, any of these cities are in the process of adjusting rates, I certainly think that they probably will be by phase 2.
Right.
So Decatur may, shake up somewhere different on this chart by then as well. And then I did want to note too, Jennifer, I thought that was really helpful that you mentioned the CPI adjustment. The CPI over that, since the last rate increase of 2012, which really phased in 2015 for sewers, that was about 35%. So it's about 10% greater than the cumulative total of both of these rate studies. Any questions on that?
Points out to me that it was critical to, when we had a major business leave our community, it's pretty critical to get a heavy user in that facility. We've really seen the effects of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now, hopefully, we'll see those revenues coming back.
Yeah.
Did you factor in any water usage revenue from the new business coming in? I know she did, but was that in yours
I
too?
forgot to mention that.
Okay.
But yes, I did factor that in, and they basically replaced the dairy farmers.
It would be somewhat
revenue.
similar.
Yeah, they're about $100,000 each, what we estimate them coming in and what you lost. But the water utility was hit again by G326 by
The rate, the first proposed increase was higher before factoring in IO's usage in there.
And do we know, is Bungie doing something differently, that they're using considerably less?
They did some system changes that I know of, and yeah, there's some metering issues that,
I think they became more efficient with their
yeah,
water.
and they had some leaks out off of one there for a number of years.
Any other questions? Okay, well, thank you guys for the presentation. I know you're saying that where we'll fall with between all the other cities, there's a whole bunch of cities working on rate increases right now. I know with just the inflation over the last few years, it's hitting everyone, so.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Do many cities factor in like an annual increase, like that you're not hitting, like once you get to where you need to go, like every year it goes up 5%, or I don't know, do cities do that? Or?
Yeah, there are some cities who do that. The Indiana Code pretty much says you need to go through the experience that you just did, which is support your rate increase with a revenue requirement study. I don't know if they go in those other cities that just increase it on the CPI, but they haven't been sued yet, but...
Right.
Yeah.
Right. At least we're doing it the correct way. I mean, we're doing it the way the state...
It's supported by the Indiana Code.
Right.
You need to look at the revenue requirements and how you're, well, just what we just did. Are they greater or lower than what you're bringing in?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you guys.
There you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, very good.
Okay, we do have a public hearing at 7 o'clock, so we got time to, I guess, the 2 event forms. Jamie, you have those, we'll go ahead and do those, and then we'll go to public hearing.
So I have, the first event is the annual Decatur Fire Department Open House. That's taking place on October 9th. And they would be closing 7th Street from Jefferson to Adams, and then Jefferson Street from 7th to 8th. And that would be 4 o'clock, and the event is from 4:30 to 7:30.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion second, all in favor?
Aye.
Oh, same sign. Okay.
Okay, and then I have another one here. That is for the Christmas tree lighting downtown. That's sponsored by the Decatur Chamber of Commerce, and then Louise Ray also helps plan that. That's happening on Friday, November 22nd this year. And they want to close 2nd Street from Monroe to Jefferson and Madison Street from 2nd to 3rd Street. And that, again, is Friday, November 22nd. They'll close the streets at 3:30, and the event is actually from about 5 to 7.
On Friday afternoon.
It's a Friday, yeah. Normally they have it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Is that the day after Thanksgiving?
No, it's the week before.
Oh.
Thanksgiving's really late this year.
Yeah.
That's what I thought at first. Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve that. Second.
Motion second to approve both events. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, thank you.
You also want me to?
Yeah.
And then I did also want to just give an update on the our email addresses for the city. So currently that is at DecaturIN.org. Moving to cityofdecatur.in.gov. The beginning of the email is going to stay the same, and that's going to be on Tuesday, October 1st. So your current email address is going to look the same for you guys. You'll have access to all the emails still, and it'll be at least 6 months that the email address will forward. So
This is a protection that the county's going through, and actually most cities and counties across the state are all going to IN.gov, so.
cityofdecatur.in.gov will be the new ending to the email.
And then you're going to get an update on the youth council. We're going to talk about that, or?
Yeah, we had our first Mayor's Youth Council meeting, like just the introduction to see who all was interested, and we had about 30 applicants come in.
Wow.
We did make a decision earlier today that there will be 20 of them that will be on the Youth Council this year, and our first meeting will be next Thursday at the school, and it'll be before school. So they'll start attending these meetings and getting back into everything.
Yep. It was, we had a great group of applicants. It was tough. She forced me to, I haven't made cuts since I was coaching. You know, it was rough because there's some good kids. There's a lot of good kids, and I think we're going to hopefully let the freshmen and sophomores that didn't make it know to apply next year, but we had 12 that are staying on from last year. So we only had room for about 7 or so. So excited to get moving with the new group.
Yeah.
For sure.
Some activities they could do, the younger ones?
What's that?
There's some activities you could run for the younger ones to get them
Or
started?
even part of their groups that they need volunteers, like they coordinate. It might be a good idea to include the kids that are going to be encouraged to apply again next year to volunteer, be support staff for.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, I mean some of the events we have, we could see if they'll volunteer, and so it's just, and I'm not gonna lie, Jamie does the management of the kids most of the time. She communicates with them back and forth, and when it gets over 20, it gets to be a lot.
Yeah.
It's
It is.
so no, but we're definitely excited to get going with them.
Yeah.
It's a great turnout.
Yeah.
Of applicants.
Yeah.
And then we also, the Hive director, Lorinda Good is her name, and she just started today, actually. So the Hive will now be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday from 4 to 7, and then Saturdays from 9 to 11.
Great.
And she'll probably be at the next meeting to introduce herself.
Yep. And that was another. We had, I don't know, 7 or 8 applicants that were good ones. So, but I think we're excited about her. She's gonna do a good job. So.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Live in Decatur.
She does.
Yep.
That's great. Good job.
Lorinda. L-O-U-R.
Okay. Okay, we're going to be, well, we can do the formalities. We need to go out of council.
Before that, I need to make a matter of record that it was, the public hearing was properly published on Gateway, the notice to taxpayers was.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. So we need a motion to suspend the council meeting.
Correct.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second to suspend the council meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Who made the motion to suspend?
Let's look it over once.
All right, so
We need a motion to enter the
Enter
public
the
hearing.
public
We need a motion to enter the public hearing.
I'll make a motion. Go ahead.
Go for it.
I'll make a motion to go into the public hearing.
I have a motion from Jenny, second from Tyler. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay, we're now in a public hearing over the budget.
All right. As the mayor stated, we are now in a public hearing to address the proposed 2025 budget. We'll entertain anyone from the public who would like to speak for or in opposition of the budget. If there's anyone present, please come forward, state your name and address.
Here's your chance, Mary.
Yeah.
Oh, Mary's here for the flag.
Oh, Mary's been here plenty.
All right. Well, seeing no one come forward at this time, this will conclude this public hearing. Have a
Motion to suspend the...
Motion to re-enter.
motion, and we had entered a motion to adjourn.
Adjourn.
Oh my gosh!
A motion.
Need a motion to re-enter the city council meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay.
I guess before we get to reading
Okay, someone made the motion to close the public hearing.
Abby. And Matt made a motion to close the public hearing and re-enter the city council meeting.
Oh, we did both the same.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so I sent you guys all an email too. The budget is all the same that was advertised. The only thing is there was a reduction in the lit economic development of $90,000. So total budget across all city funds is up $39,536. Our tax rate has actually went down this year. Our levy, or our assessed value for the city has went up $28 million this year. So we have that's a fairly significant jump in assessed value. It tends to drop your tax rate. So yeah, any questions on the budget at all?
Seeing none, Kevin, thank you and your staff for hard work for your first budget.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, Ann, if you need to, if there's a short title to that.
Well, it would be an ordinance for the appropriation and tax rate.
Yeah,
So,
that would be the short ordinance
yeah.
for 2025.
Right. I mean, it's ordinance 2024-10. So,
Yeah.
we'd entertain a motion to introduce
Okay.
ordinance 2024-10 by short title only.
So moved. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2024-10, an ordinance for the appropriations and tax rates.
I moved to, that was a short title. I moved to pass ordinance 2024-10 on its first reading. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes. I moved to place ordinance 2024-10 on its second reading by short title only. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2024-10, ordinance for appropriations and tax rates.
I move to pass ordinance 2024-10 on its second reading. Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes. I move to table ordinance 2024-10 until our next meeting on October 1st. Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Okay, now we have some ordinances on updating employee vacation.
Do we have, I'll take a pen. We have ordinance number 2024-11, which relates to all full-time employees, and this reduces the vesting period of employment necessary to qualify for paid time off. So it had been 1 year, and it's been reduced down to 6 months for any full-time employee entitled to vacation time, and that would trigger a 1 week vacation period, and then from 1 to 4 years, 2 weeks, 5 to 9 years, 3 weeks, and 10 years or more with 4 weeks of vacation time. And that's factored on based on a 40-hour work week, paid at the rate of pay in effect when the employee takes the vacation time. And so, not much more than reducing from 1 year to 6 months that's the primary change for the full-time employees. There's a corresponding ordinance that I can address now that goes through police and fire. Those would be changed as well. There had been an ordinance that was done in 2006 that discussed and broke out police and fire employees with employment dates either prior to January 1 of 93 or after January 1 of 93. As to police, there are no longer any Decatur police officers employed who began their service prior to January 93, so that portion of that ordinance has been eliminated. But the vesting period for police officers hired after January 1 of 93 vests after 6 months. They're entitled to 1 week vacation, 1 to 4, 2 weeks, 5 to 9 years, 3 weeks, 10 or more 4 weeks of vacation. Again, that's based on 40-hour work week at the rate of pay when the vacation's taken. And no full-time employee, whether police or fire, has the ability to accumulate or carry over time off in any given year. Firefighters are split up a little bit differently just because of their shifts. So any firefighter who has an on-duty shift or 24-hour shift receives, with 1 to 5 years of service, 8 working days off, 6 through 10 years of service, 9 working days off, 11 through 15 years, 10 working days off, 16 through 20 years, 13 days, and 21 years of service or more, 16 working days off. And then those are for firefighters who were employed prior to January 1, 93. So we have some service members still working for that. But you want me to keep going?
Basically,
you reduce the vesting period
yeah,
from 1 year.
basically we just will shorten the years it takes to get to the different levels of vacation. You know, when you're looking at trying to attract talent and try to keep your talent, you know, cities can't always pay the highest rate, but we can try to help them by giving them a little more vacation time a little bit earlier in their career. So something that we looked at this year.
And the ordinance also adjusts and coordinates with the holiday structure for the city and brings that up to be consistent among all of the ordinances. So the city recognizes 14 holidays. So now the ordinance was related to vacation also referenced that for employees as well. So police receive comp time of 14 days a year based on when they work on holidays. And the same goes for firefighters on a regular 40-hour week. If they're on 24-hour shifts, instead of 7 days, they get 8 off per year. Ordinance 2024-11 is
How much time do you get off after 6 months? A couple of days?
A week.
A week?
A week after 6, 2 after a year, 3 after 5, 4 after 10. There used to be 1 after a year, 2 after 2, 3 after 8, and 4 after 15. Yeah.
I'm glad we did this. I asked about it last year and it seemed like it was an impossible task. And I went home and was like, I don't understand this impossible task.
Did you just hear what Ann read the whole time?
So this is great.
I have a question.
Is that common? People get a month off in jobs?
Nowadays,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Better talk to your employer, Matt.
So we get
Who's your
unlimited.
boss?
Yeah.
You need a manager.
Retail's different, I guess.
You say they can't bank vacation time, do they get an option to take a payout at the end of the year? They have to take it off?
Yep. Use it or lose it.
Why would we not pay them for it if they wanted to work? Wouldn't that save us?
No, we don't.
You know, honestly, it's about time off. I mean, we're trying to give people time off. If you want time off, take it.
For
it's
mental
not
health.
about-
of life.
It's not about more pay. It's about spending time with your family and doing things and getting out of work for a little bit.
And also causes some budgetary issues too, if you have several of them.
Payouts at the end of
I don't want to take 4 days off this year and I have
4 weeks.
Right.
You know, if you have 10 people to do that,
Right.
it really makes your budget upside down. I know I'm sheriff's department, when I used to work at the county, they would end up paying you off after so many hours of comp time. But it was a nightmare because your budget is supposed to shot.
Yeah.
It's all paid for off, right?
Any more questions about those? Two ordinances.
So, ordinance 2024-11 addresses vacation schedules for full-time city employees. So I'd entertain a motion to introduce ordinance number 2024-11. So moved. Okay.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance number 2024-11, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur amending ordinance number 2001-7, vacation schedule for full-time city employees. I make a motion to pass ordinance 2024-11 on its first reading. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes.
I move to place ordinance 2024-11 on its second reading by short title only.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance number 2024-11, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Decatur amending ordinance number 2001-7, vacation schedule for full-time city employees. I move to pass ordinance 2024-11 on its second reading. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes. I will move to table ordinance 2024-11 until our next meeting on October 1st. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
And then, it's
What's that?
based on the present format of the ordinance, it's set to take effect January 1 of 25, so next calendar year.
We're going to be asked, that's why.
Yeah. And it'll be a little messy at first. And people will get at it a week, kind of. Yeah.
So I guess, when does this start? January 1?
January.
And, yeah. And the objective would be to have these passed, and then the salary ordinances are getting
Yep.
brought up, and so those would be encompassed, but they're going to be in effect, the salary ordinances for 2025, and so the goal is to carry those all over and make a little bit of cohesiveness and consistency there. So.
The only reason why I ask is I know we will get asked, so.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I move to introduce ordinance 2024-12 on its first reading by short title only. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance for the City of Decatur Common Council amending ordinance 2006-12 regarding vacation time for police officers and firefighters. I move to pass ordinance 2024-12 on its first reading. Second.
Motion and a second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz.
Yes.
Matt Dyer.
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp.
Yes.
Scott Murray.
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes. I move to place ordinance 2024-12 on its second reading by short title only. Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Ordinance 2024-12, an ordinance of the City of Decatur Common Council amending ordinance 2612 regarding vacation time for police officers and firefighters.
I move to pass ordinance 2024-12 on its second reading.
Second.
Motion is second. Roll call vote?
Jenny Bauer Schultz,
Yes.
Matt Dyer,
Yes.
Tyler Fulenkamp,
Yes.
Scott Murray,
Yes.
Abby Wilder.
Yes.
I move to table ordinance 2024-12 until our next meeting on October 1st.
Second.
Motion is second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Now we have an update from the City Flag Committee. So,
Yeah.
Mary, Jenny,
Mary's here.
Scott, are you on there?
Scott. Jamie's going to help a little bit, but because of maternity leave, you know, she's not going to be around. We've had a couple meetings and just coming together and trying to figure out the best strategy to go about this, with the goal in mind, obviously, of coming up with a city flag that will work to, you know, unite the community and be a symbol of our community, of not only like the history of our community, but even hopes for what the future of what we desire for the community. So I'll kind of let Mary take the lead here, and maybe Scott and I can just fill in as needed.
Well, we're almost finished with the paperwork, but we need a little bit of extra help from council. We're asking for a $1,500 donation to sponsor the winning award promotional materials and to purchase a flag for the unveiling. Hoping we could use it out of the city's promotional fund. It's going to get a lot of people, not just from Decatur, involved. We're going to open a contest up to artists in Fort Wayne, different colleges, high schools. Maybe we get the Mayor's Youth Council involved. We'd like to have them submit design ideas. We're not ready to release everything yet, but we want to be able to release this information within the next month.
Are there any like requirements that you're anything that you're asking for to be in the design?
Yes, so Jenny found online a really fantastic video on YouTube that went down all the symbolism. And that's why I think this would be great for schools as well, because you can incorporate that into your art lesson plans. But it talks about symbolism and what is a good flag versus a bad flag. And if you're interested, Jenny can send you that video. It's fantastic. It really goes through the explanation. We'll have requirements. We don't want like a triangle flag. We want, you know, a rectangle flag. You know, color scheme-wise though, and things like that. We're going to leave that up to the artist. And we wanted to do it this way. They call it in graphic design visual identity. It's about $3,000 to have somebody design it, you know, a graphic designer. But if we open it up to the community, we get, and you only get with a graphic designer one design. We open it up to everybody. We'll get a bunch of designs, and we can pick and choose which one. We will probably open it up to the public online that they can vote for the final 5.
Yeah. So our plan really is initially, like Mary said, we'll try to roll this out here in the next month. We would take entries until the beginning of February, and then over the next couple weeks or month, we're going to go through the designs. We are likely going to formulate another committee who will help us narrow down, depending on how many we get, selecting like the last 5 that we feel are most representative of Decatur, and then opening that up to public for voting. Final vote will be up to full. But we do want the community's participation, their buy-in. We want this to be, you know, like this is making history, like to have, you know, so be a part of Decatur history. What else? Yeah, I mean, it's free to enter. Anybody can enter. We're looking for high caliber designs and something that really represents the history. So there is going to be some work involved by the designers of, you know, digging through a little bit of Decatur history and what are some things that represent our city, what are things that we feel like should be a part of the flag. And that's up to the designer. People can enter up to 3 different designs. And we did feel like we've done a lot of research of other cities who have done this, and even like Allen County did a flag recently. They may still be in the process, I don't know, but a lot of these people just did it for free. But we feel like there is value in some kind of award for obviously time, effort, and hopefully to, as a result, get a high caliber flag.
And that's why we're asking for $1,500 also for promotional, to get the word out. 'Cause you can have a contest, but if nobody knows about it, you're not going to enter. So that was one of the reasons.
And the flag would become the property, the intellectual property of the city. So the artist would give up the rights to the design if they're chosen as a winner.
And what we would love is to kind of complete this whole thing and have like a, unveiling ceremony, all of that, like around Memorial Day, Flag Day, sculpture tour time, because it's all right there, end of May, beginning of June, because it all ties in together. So, yeah.
Do you have any questions?
I mean, it sounds like you guys have put a lot of thought into this and have some semblance of an idea of kind of what benchmarks or what you're looking for in terms of a flag. Do you have kind of some guidelines that you're working on that participants are going to be able to utilize?
Yes, we will have guidelines. There will be lesson plans that can be distributed to teachers. Most of it will be available on hopefully the city's website, Facebook, and I don't see a problem with handing out a copy sheet to each of the art teachers locally in the community and outside of the community and informing.
And we, I've got a preliminary like contest rules paper and an actual entry form that will have a lot of detailed information in it. We're just not ready to release it just yet because of we need to get it finalized and everything. We wanted to really just give everybody an update of what we've been working on, what's going on, and then our next step forward is really for asking council for $1,500 for award and for use of promotional materials and getting the word out.
And buying flags.
Does that amount cover turning a rendering into a graphic design so that it can be printed on the flag, or is there a cost to that, or?
I'm sure there's a cost to all things, but we would purchase stitched flags because our flags are all stitched. So whatever we would purchase, that's what it would be, so they could hang together.
And at this point, like, we haven't, like, this is a new game for us, right? Like, we're figuring this out as we go and looking around for guidance from how other people have done it. And so we don't know how much flags cost, really. Like, I don't know how many flags we would need if we were going to purchase them for our government buildings and city entities and things like that. I don't know.
Even a little
Polls and, yeah, who knows? Who knows?
This is a preliminary.
So we may be back asking for more in the future, but this is kind of like where we are right now to kind of get the ball rolling. Figure it out as you go.
I make a motion to allocate $1,500 from the promotional fund to get the proverbial ball rolling on the flag project.
Have a motion and a second. Any more discussion on the flag?
I should probably abstain from the
Yeah, I'll excuse myself from voting.
I love flags.
Okay. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Okay. Thank you guys for all your work so far.
After we get flags, I
Thank
want the
you.
flag on a coffee mug
Yep.
Yeah.
and other things.
promotional materials out
Yeah.
there.
Hey.
I think that'd be a great idea. That cohesive marketability.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we'll public hearing for tax base. I don't know.
Not for me.
Yeah, with the rate hike, to explain how that process works.
Yeah, I can. Because
Well, I
that'll be,
can too, just
yeah.
it matters.
the tax abate, we'll have tax abatement, public hearing. next meeting, but the second meeting in October will have essentially
Public hearing.
one for the, they could be done around the same period of time, but they're essentially two separate hearings.
Those guys already have built-in vacation.
I don't really
They already have workers.
need to, because there's no,
Max isn't
we
even here.
can talk about
They've already
next meeting,
been-
because we'll have the ordinance, but public hearing will be the same.
They've already
Talk to them afterwards about how to write this.
It's already a line item.
I think maybe just grab them afterwards.
Especially like,
Right now. Go ahead.
okay, so with the Crow study that was in, so how that process works is, we'll have an ordinance, hopefully prepared next meeting. And then, there could be some more discussion if you guys wanted to talk about it then more. And then the second meeting in October will be a public hearing for both water and sewage increases, if that's the way you decide to go. But yeah, there will be public hearings, second meeting in October then.
Okay.
Okay.
Dan, my daughter's in line down at 27 and her car quit running.
Okay, okay.
I gotta go get her out on.
Okay, thanks. Nothing else from you guys? Department heads. Kevin? Jeff, I'm just gonna ask you now, I've seen some counties around issuing burn bans.
We're having a meeting, chief's having a meeting Thursday night.
Okay, okay,
Right now, we're tentatively scheduled to go in front of the commissioners next Tuesday.
okay.
That can be canceled. And what we're receiving from the National Weather Service, it's supposed to just get worse as long as we don't get any rain. So
Yeah. Do either one of you guys need to give an update on the train last night?
just learned about it, so. The railroad was pushing some cars and there was a derailer set to protect the equipment that they're laying the new rails with, and they missed it, and one car is on its, all the cars were full, one is on its side, they were cleaning that up today, and the second car that it was attached to, it looked like it ripped the front wheels out from underneath it, it's still
Okay, this one at least didn't close the
the
road.
railroad's not on.
Okay, and it didn't close the road down last night, so. Well, I guess Nutman was closed for a little while until they got him. Okay. Anything else from you?
So our open house is coming up, more details to follow, we're still working on that.
Okay. Aaron? Carrie?
I could thank you.
Jamie?
So this Friday is Island Vibes concert on the plaza that Adams County Cancer Coalition is putting on. And then Saturday is the Spanish Festival on the plaza. And I do have an update for that as far as street closures. With being closed and the deeper route being First Street, we really didn't think it was a good idea to close First Street like originally planned. So we're going to close 2nd Street between Monroe and Court Street, leaving Court Street open, and then Madison between 2nd and 3rd. So that's where all the food trucks will be, and then those lowrider cars will be on 2nd Street. And that'll be at 3 o'clock on Saturday. when
3
Madison
o'clock.
Street-
Matt, what time did you guys close on Saturday?
5.
Okay. It's 3 is when they're going to close
3
second.
o'clock is when that will close.
Okay. Okay, anything from council?
Well, Jeremy had to leave, but I think we made it through a week of heavy trash. But I think it's something we're going to need to revisit how our processes are. Do we allow someone to put an entire house full of stuff on the curb? Part of it is a worker safety thing, but part of it is I think we're just there's a lot of abuse by the
Right.
citizens of a really good system we try to have in place for the benefit of people, and some are just really abusing it, and it's getting worse.
I've
And
had-
I think it's something we need to address.
I've had some comments about people bringing trailers full of stuff in and dumping it in front of houses, so we definitely need to relook at it.
One of our employees told me that it's a box truck full of stuff that was just brought in and dropped at a house. I mean, it's hard to police, but
Well, Well, it may
It's supposed to
need,
be a benefit to our residents.
it needs to go into a fine schedule. I mean, you're not allowed to bring trash from outside the city in, so.
Is there a penalty in our ordinance for that now?
I don't believe so.
Honestly, I would be,
Trash from
I
the
think
county?
It's illegal dumping?
referenced. It may be referenced, but I don't know if there's, well, there may be a fee for illegal dump.
I mean, that's the only thing I was thinking is there's a statute.
There is an illegal dumping, ordinance. I don't know if there's.
We used to have it 4
right,
times
it's
a year,
one
and
thing
we've
if
gone down to
if
2.
it's being dumped on someone's property unknowingly, then that kind of triggers littering or the criminal statute. But if it's permitted by the homeowner, then that should be a cost that's assessed to them. I mean, it could be treated as a nuisance violation for excessive
It might be something to look
accumulation of
into
excessive
in our
rubbish or
ordinance to
trash.
Make sure that there is a penalty there, and I mean, I'm not saying that we're gonna have to enforce it, but
Yeah, how do
you
you,
have the opportunity to, if you catch someone from out of town dumping trash. I don't know how to keep all that stuff in there, where all the mattresses come from, but how you can pull out 6 mattresses out of a house amazes me, but.
I talked with Jeff McIntosh this morning, and he indicated that somehow, some way, it's like the same houses managed to produce 6 or 8 mattresses every trash round, and it's kind of like, it's this 2 or 3 bedroom house. Where are you storing all of these? What are you doing with all of these?
But they thought it was going to take Jeremy and his crew that physically do the work to come up with a plan to help us too.
Right.
So,
Anything else from council? Anything from public?
motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion is second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, same